If you can talk among yourselves, but try to just at a lower level. All right. First, I thank the Mosque for continuing the work and the initiatives the Imam worth to Mohammed. This is Patriotism Day. All right, and we haven't had one because of the timing on the calendar. Always kind of conflicted with the Ramadan. But this is the first one now. I think for about 2 or 3 years. I think. So I thank Allah for the Mosque continuing their work, and I thank Allah for allowing me to be able to help and assistance to the Mosque. I was listening to a tape of Imam Mohammed. In fact, it was one where the subject was more than just that subject, but the four cools. It's the one, a community night presentation he was making. And I was listening to it as I was driving back from Minnesota. And he talked about for the human being, how you had to overcome these false gods. He said one of the biggest ones to overcome, one that Iblis could not, was having knowledge and thinking you're supposed to be praised for the knowledge you have, knowing that the knowledge didn't come from you. It came from Allah. All of it came from Allah. But there are many people who want to be praised for and recognized for that knowledge. All that I give you, let me just tell you up front, didn't come from me. It came from Almighty God Allah. And I give it freely. All right? And I pray Allah, you use it to the best of your ability. And that it best and helps all of us. Because it helps all of us as a community, we'll always do better. So I thank Allah and I thank the Mosque for allowing me to continue to do these classes. But understand, Allah has blessed me to come in to possession this information, and I give it out freely, all right, for all of us to use. So, as reported earlier, we're going to start the lending circle. We're going to launch it today, inshallah. And part of the lending circle is as you pay back the loan and make it available for the next person in the circle, we will be monitoring that. And we're going to look to report it to one of the 3 credit bureaus, whichever one that will allow us to work with them. And there are 3, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Those are the 3 credit reporting agencies. So there's several things they do. But one of the most important things they do is they have member companies. That means banks, stores. There are a lot of people, businesses that are members of those credit reporting agencies. And if you go into a auto place to buy a car, or if you go into a bank to take out a loan, when they say they're going to run your credit, what they're doing is they're going to those agencies and they're going to see what kind of credit rating you have, all right, or what kind of credit score you have. And based on that information coming back, that's how they determine if they can extend credit to you, all right. So I want to talk to you about a couple of things in that instance. One that's very important. There's in fact, all 3 of those credit reporting agencies had to pay a fine to the federal government. You know why? Because the credit scores that they were reporting. Now, they were trying to get people to sign up online, So you go and say, come here and look at your credit score. All right. The problem with that was that credit score that you saw, if you ever did that, was not the credit score that most lenders use. That's not the credit score they use. All right. And when the federal government found that out, they sued them. They settled. All 3 settled. All right. And so this is what they say. The Experian case shows the limits of online credit scores. So you heard the old thing about buyer beware? All right. Very important for you to be careful about signing up for something like that. Make certain that you find out if that's what you're going to buy, that that's what they're going to use. All right. So different lenders use different scores. FICO, F-I-C-O, is one of the big scores that's out there, right? All right. But there are a couple other agencies that also report scores. All right. And let me just quote from the articles. The article I'm quoting from was out of Chicago Tribune. And this is the Sunday, April 2nd, 2017 Tribune. And it says, Experian case shows the limit of online credit scores. That's the name of this particular article. And, that's another point I want to make that's very important. How many, I've heard about the Consumer Financial Credit Bureau, or the Consumer Financial, it's the federal agency, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. How many of y'all heard about that bureau? It was set up by Barack Obama when he was president, all right? And it was set up to be a watchdog for consumers. In fact, until he set this up, consumers didn't have any watchdog, all right, out there to watch out for you with these particular programs. All right, so let me just read a quote from the article. A new legal settlement from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau alleges that Experian, one of the big three credit reporting bureaus, deceptively marketed credit scores to consumers by misrepresenting them as the same thing as what their lenders would use in determining whether and on what terms to offer them a loan. All right, I'm just reading what I just said. Now, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, do you know that right now that bureau is under attack? Yeah, they want to strip it. Right now, it only reported to. It didn't report to the Congress. It was an executive bureau, and it only reported to the executive, and at the head of the executive, of course, at that time, was the President of the United States, President Barack Obama. Now, Congress says the bureau has too much power, so they wanted to report to Congress, and then Congress wants to control their budget. Who's controlling Congress right now? I can't hear you. Okay, just speak out. I mean, all of us know. Okay, it's the truth. Since when that particular party was concerned about consumers, particularly small people, okay? There's a reason why they want to but this particular agency, not only did they find out about what was going on with the credit scores, there's another program that because of them, they dealt with. I can't think of it right now, but it may come to me before the end of my presentation, and I'll tell you what it is. But it's under attack. Let me just tell you it's under attack. Just for what they're doing, looking out for the consumer. That's you and me. All right. All right. So as part of the settlement, Experian was fined $3 million. The case follows the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau settlement in January over similar allegations with the other national credit bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion, in which they were required to make $17.6 million in restitution to consumers and pay $5.5 million in fines. TransUnion and Equifax were accused not only of falsely representing the usefulness of their in-house education scores, but also of luring consumers into costly, recurring payments for credit-related products. All right? And it's, in essence, products with false promises. So they were just taking people's money. All right? So anyway, let me go on and talk about the credit scores. You know, they look at the low score, which is usually 600. The high score, when we talk about FICO now, is 780. So if you have a 780 score, you have a high score. 600 score is a low score. But again, still, it's based on what score your lender is going to use. So if you're going to go out and get a loan for a car, or for some furniture, or just a bank loan, ask the lender, on what score are you going to base my credit? What score are you going to use? So you can have an idea of what they're going to use and see if you can hold them accountable. A lot of times, you can't get the score. You can't get the same score that they get. They send the information directly to them by computer, but they don't send it to the consumer. But you can ask the lender, particularly if they deny your credit. Now, you know, they do have a law that if they deny you credit, you can get your credit report, not your credit score. That's the difference. There's the difference. You get your credit report, but you don't get the credit score. They want you to buy the credit score, but still you don't know if that's the one that that lender is using. So just ask them. Remember, when you go get a loan from someone, you give them some business. Don't think they're doing you a favor when you get a loan from someone. I don't care if it's a bank or you're buying a car, whatever. You're going and you're giving them business. So you have a right to ask them, okay, now, on what basis are you going to loan me or grant me this loan? And what are you using? What criteria are you using? And what scores are you using? And I like to see the score. And if they don't want to do that, okay, well, you know, I can take my business elsewhere. Now, they don't want you to walk out the door now. All right, particularly if you look like you're ready to do some business with them. Because even if the score is not that high, you know, they're saying, you know, well, let's see what we can do some business. The rate to get the money might be a little higher, but they don't want you to walk out the door and go take that business somewhere else. So understand that you do have leverage. Don't think that they're just doing you a favor, okay? All right, so with the lending circle, this is why this is important and why I want to bring this to your attention. And there may be more people the next first Sunday, and I might speak a little bit more about it then, because I want people to get this. With the lending circle, as you pay your loan back in the lending circle, we're going to track it. And the mosque heads, once they arrange to set the system up, are going to report this to, what should the credit bureau allow us to report it to? So if you make your payment on time, they're going to see that you're making your payments on time. If the payment is late, they're going to see that the payment is late. It's like paying any other loan. Okay, so you want to make sure your payments are on time. So you can keep the score. Now, if you don't have good credit, this is one of the ways for you to improve your credit. Now, this is another important fact. Everything is not based on that credit score. And the credit score that you have, let me tell you what influences the most. What influences the most is how much credit you have, how much of it you use, and how you make your payments, okay? Even more, how much you use. If you have a credit at a particular bank, let's say a credit card, and the credit card has a $15,000 line, and you use all $15,000, it lowers your credit score. But if you only use 10,000 of it, or if you're only using 5,000 of it, your credit score goes higher. So it's based on how much of that credit that you use. Then of course, the other factor is paying on time. What you don't want to do is ever be late. I don't care if it's 1 day late. They ding your credit report, okay? And I always try to remind the believers here, I get my credit report, I divide it into quarters, thirds, because you got 3 credit bureaus, and you can get a free report for one of them each year. It don't cost you anything. And of course, there's 3 agencies. So I recommend every 4 months, get your credit report from just one agency. And if you do that, in the end of the year, you will have gotten one from each one of the agencies. And almost all of the lenders report to all 3 credit agencies. All right? So you can get an opportunity to see how you're doing. I get mine, the last one I just got was from Equifax. So my next one is either going to be TransUnion or Experian. And I look at what my credit rate is there, what lines I have open. Also, you want to make sure no one is using your credit and hasn't stolen your identity. This is another way to do it. Get your credit report, okay? Because you can see right on there. And if you look on that and you say, "Well, no, I don't have no credit with these people. Where did this come from?" Then you can contact them and find out that has somebody stolen your identity and opened up a line of credit in your name. All right. For a lot of times, the only way you learn this is once you get a bill in the mail from someone that just say, "Where'd this come from? I didn't open this up," you know. But the way to also get ahead of it is to get your credit report. All right. It also will tell you who your creditors are and how much of your credit you're using. They'll say how much your line of credit is and how much of it is you're using. And it'll show you if you're paying on time. And it'll say right on there, paying is agreed. That's what it'll say. And that's what you want all of your lines to be. Paying is agreed. All right. Try not to ever. And one of the things I do, and I encourage all of you to do if you can, I try to pay 1 day early. all my whatever bills, I have it in my phone to remind me 1 day early to pay it. Because things happen. And all of a sudden, 1 day early. Now if I miss that 1 day early, I'm definitely going to hit it on the day that it's due. All right. But don't let it be late. Right. You're not that concerned about the cost of that late fee. More important is how it's going to ding your credit, and it hurts your credit rating. Okay. So in the last few minutes I have here, let me say something about credit cards. I've talked about credit scores, and I think I've covered what I wanted to cover on them. Yes. Yes.
If you see something in your credit that you do not agree with,
yes.
you can always write them and tell them that this is not yours.
That's correct.
And they have 30 days to contact the people, and if it's not yours, they'll take it off.
That's correct. Let me repeat what Sister Aisha said. If you look at your credit report and you see something on there that you don't agree with, that you did not open this line up, or something that's a problem, you have to write them. Now you got to do it in writing. You can't pick up the phone and call now. You got to do it in writing. All right, but you can write them, and they have 30 days to investigate it and get back to you and tell you what the situation is relative to that what you dispute. All right, and you want to get it resolved. And if it's not, if they find it is an error, they have to take that off of your credit report. All right, so that it doesn't continue to be carried on your credit report if it's an error. This is why you have to look and get your credit report so you can see if there's some errors there. Okay? Thank you, Sister Aisha. All right. Now, this article I read, it was in the Friday, June 16th edition of the Chicago Tribune. The title of the article is "Why Credit Cards Shouldn't Retire with You." All right. I know most of my audience, many of my audience, we don't have the live stream today. So I know many of my audience probably have retired. Now some of us may still have a second job, but many of us have retired, right? But they say if you have credit cards, don't let them retire with you. What do they mean by that? Let me just read from the article, okay? When our car trouble began, Beverly, I can't pronounce her last name, but I'll pass it, 70 years old, assumed that years of responsible credit usage would qualify her for a new car loan with a low interest rate. Then the salesman checked her credit and learned that she hadn't made any purchases with it in 10 years. She preferred to pay with cash or use her debit card. That had hurt her credit scores, preventing her from getting a deal that worked for her. It was quite a shock. I had a huge down payment for him, but it didn't make any difference. The Long Beach, California resident says, I didn't get the car. Okay. About 1/3 of American baby boomers risk damaging their credit scores in retirement by reducing or eliminating their use of credit cards, according to a survey by TransUnion, one of the 3 major credit bureaus that gather information used to calculate scores. All right? Using credit cards for small purchases keeps your credit active. Remember that now. Using credit card for small purchases. So you don't have to make a big purchase. Make a small purchase. When the bill comes, pay the whole bill, but it looks good on your credit score. Okay? Even though you retire, it looks good on your credit score. That can help ensure you'll have available credit or good credit score when it counts. That's why it's important to maintain a strong credit profile, even if you don't foresee borrowing money again. TransUnion consumer data show that 20% of people ages 51 to 70 have subprime credit or a credit score less than 600. See, that's the low score, right? Your retirement plan might appear bulletproof, but circumstances easily change. And if they don't, it's nice to know you can lean on your credit. You never know when you're going to need something. Hang on to that credit, the young lady said. I'll call her a young lady. She's 70 years old. Okay. So this is important. You may not know this, but it's important to know. You don't have to run up your credit. And if you paid off your cards, don't cancel your cards. That's one thing. Don't cancel your credit card. When you cancel a credit card, if that credit card had a score, maybe a limit of $10,000 and you cancel it, that's like a $10,000 hit to your credit. You've canceled it, it's no longer to you, and it brings your credit score down. See, these are the kind of things you may not know. That's why it's a blessing that Allah blessed me to see it, so I can share it with you. And if you have that $10,000 card and you haven't used it for 3 or 4 or 5 years, take it out. Go buy $100 worth of something. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. And at the end of the month, pay that $100 off on time. It keeps your credit score up. If you have 2 or 3 cards, do the same thing with each card. Okay? Don't charge no more than you can handle, but make at least one purchase over each one of those cards at least once a year. At least once a year. Okay? So you can keep that credit score up. All right? You never know when you're going to need to use it. All right? All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you, brothers and sisters, today. I may repeat some of this in August because there's so many people who are not here today. And for those of you who are here, and if you hear it again, don't be upset. Because there'll be a lot of people who, and also we don't have live stream. And even though it's going to be on the, it's going to go up on YouTube because the Mosque is taping it. But I still may repeat some of this because it's just so important for our people to have. Okay, so with that, yes, now I'm open for questions. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I just want to say thank you. And as we get older, we tend to think that, we have a credit card, we'll close that account out.
Yeah.
I promise you, don't close it.
Don't close it.
Don't close it. Because if you close it, it brings your credit score down.
Yes.
You leave it up, make that one purchase, like you said, once a year, that will work perfectly for you.
That's correct. So I know, as this lady did, she's 70 years old. But since she's probably retired when she was 65. But she said she hadn't used those credit cards for 10 years. Okay? But her score, and as they say, most seniors have subprime credit. Only because they haven't used it. All right? So you want to use it. All right, keep that credit card on. Don't cancel it. Yes, sir.
Okay, so your credit card with a high interest, is there some way you get a low interest?
Yes, yes. This is why I say, let me repeat the question. The brother asked if you have a credit card with a high interest, is there a way to get a low interest? Let me tell you. Again, when you use a credit card, you're giving somebody some business. All you got, the first thing you do is call up the company and say you want to lower your credit, your interest rate. Now, I'll just come and use an example out the sky because let me tell you, I know someone who called and asked could they lower their score, their credit rate. Well, oh no, we can't do that. I said, well, I'm canceling. I'm cutting it. No, don't do that. Don't cut it up. Well, you say you want all the interest rate. I'm not going to continue to give you no business. I'm cutting the card up. No, don't cut it up. Let's see what we can do. You understand what I'm saying? You're giving them business, So that's the first thing you do. See if the company that you're with will lower your interest rate because they have a relationship with you already. Now, if they absolutely refuse, then go shop for you a new card. They have cards out there now. If you'll transfer the balance from one card to another one, you can get a lower rate. But now be careful when you do that. Make sure the rate is not a teaser rate. You know what my teaser rate? Have you ever heard that before? Let me tell you what a teaser rate is. A teaser rate is they offer you a rate for about 6 months. All right? Low rate. Then after that 6 months, boom, the rate goes up. All right? So what you want to find out is make sure that the rate they offer you is going to be the rate for the long as you're going to own the card. Right. There's not going to be a teaser rate. Even if it's a teaser rate, as long as the rate is going to be lower than the rate of the card that you already have, you're still doing better. Okay? And eventually what you want to do is to get a card where you got a real low rate. Okay? And you can. They got cards out there that allow you to do that. Okay? Yes, sir.
I want to thank you, brother, for the advice you've been giving us. And I really just got a couple of comments.
Yes, sir.
I heard a story about Booker T. Washington. He goes to Andrew Carnegie and he tells him, he said, I've been getting all these offers for lines of credit. What should I do? He said, get as many as you can. Credit is capital.
That's correct.
Another thing is a joke, brother. The rich get richer and the poor get credit cards.
That's right. Well, it is, but as long as you're poor and know what to do with the credit cards, get them. The problem is when you don't know what to do with them. That's when you get in trouble. And I don't know how many of you all know this. You know Spike Lee financed one of his first movies with all the credit cards? Yeah, he did. His first movie, because he couldn't get the loan, he financed his first movie with all the credit cards. All right? Movie went up. He paid off all those credit cards, and they didn't have to go that way again. But he had the credit cards to be able to do it. All right? So you're right. Credit is capital. All you got to do is know how to use it. All right? I know Robert Kiyosaki. Y'all know I know about Robert Kiyosaki. He says, poor people, they use credit, but they don't know how to use it. And before you know it, credit is using them instead of they using the credit. Okay? All right. Any more? Yes, sir.
I got a credit union.
Yes, sir.
Credit unions, their rates are way more less than
That's correct. They are.
Okay. The question I want to ask is, what's the difference between a credit report and a credit score?
Oh, big difference. He asked, what's the difference between a credit report and a credit score? There's a big difference. Big difference. A credit report has all the credit lines that you have open. They have them listed on that report. And there are 3 agencies that collect it: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. They collect that information, all right? And then they have rules by which they have to monitor that information, okay? And they can't release it to just anybody. They can release, and their credit report they can only release to the person who owns the credit. That would be you or me. A credit score is something different. A credit score, FICO is one, they have several other ones. It's made up of a combination of things, all right, dealing with your credit. But the same rules on that information doesn't apply as applies to your credit report. A credit score, most of the only people who ask for that and use it are credit agencies, people who want to extend you credit, all right? They're the ones who get that credit score. And as I said earlier, there are different reporting agencies. FICO is one, but there's others, and they use different factors to determine their score. And that can be just their score. Most credit agencies that want to extend you credit, they get scores from 2 or 3 places, not just one place. And then they make a decision should they extend you credit. That's the difference between a credit score and a credit report. You can get both, but the credit report, by law, everything on there is supposed to be accurate. All right, and if it's not, you can write in and contest that information. On a credit score, all you know is the agency put it together. And when you ask for it, or if you pay for it, they don't usually give it to you free. And some of them, they do give it free if you do business with them. You have some credit cards that say, if you check out a credit card with us, we'll give you your credit score. Well, how do you know who's using that credit score? And how was it put together? You will never know. Us, we never know. But the people who use that information, they know. They know. That's what's important. All right. That's the difference between it. All right. One, you don't know how it's put together, and it's usually the businesses that belong to that credit reporting agency. They can get information access to it. But your credit report, they get access to that, but you get access to that too. And because you can get one free a year, you don't have to pay for it. I say make sure you get one from each one of the credit reporting bureaus once a year. You get one free a year. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Is it true that every time you get a copy or get your credit report or score, it lowers your score?
No, that's no, because you can get one free a year. But that's not, I know where you're getting at. That's not where you have a problem. The problem comes when you apply for credit. See, this is what it is. When you apply for credit, you got to be really careful when you apply, because it will ding your credit score if you apply to a lot of different places in a short period of time. All right, you get those credit card solicitations in the mail. They go right into the shredder when they come to my house. They go right to the shredder. I have one card that when I pay the bill, they want to know, well, will you give us your most recent information so we can make a decision? We want to extend you some more credit. I don't want you to extend me no more credit. I got just as what I can handle. All right, I don't want no more. So I never fill it out. I just go right past it and say, I didn't get on here to do that. I can't only pay my bill. I go right past it and go ahead and pay my bill, right? Once you get to the point where you got enough credit and you can handle it, don't get any more. Don't get any more. I don't care how many times they send you them solicitation. Get what you can handle. And if you do that, you'll be doing well. You'll keep your score up. And one day when you really need to get a little bit more credit or whatever, you'll be able to do that. Okay? So that's what you got to be careful about. Not how many times you get your credit report, how many times you apply for credit. That can ding your credit score. Okay? All right, brothers and sisters, first I thank all of you for your attention. All right, now those who didn't want to ask the question in the open audience, if I come out there, you can come up and ask me. But they always say there's no stupid question. Don't ever think it's a stupid question. Because the question you didn't ask, somebody else is probably thinking of that same question. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Sister, you want to ask?
I wanted to ask you, someone said if you have secured credit card, it helps bring your credit score up.
I don't think so. Well, all it allows you to do is get credit easier. So if you have a secured card, whoever that company is you got the secured card by, if you secure it by, say you got a $10,000 in your account and you secure it by $10,000, they'll loan you up to what's in the account because they don't have to worry about it. They have access to your card. You're secure. So, but the same thing applies. If you pay late, it dings your credit. Okay? So now it makes it easier for you to get the card. Okay? They may not be so stringent because it's secure. They loan you the credit, but it's backed up by your savings account or whatever, and they know if for whatever reason you don't pay the card off, they can go there and get the money. Okay, so it's secured, but they're still treated the same. If you're late, they're going to ding you with it, okay? All right, so, and if you don't use it, what you want to do with a secure card, use it to the point where you can get an unsecured card, and then get rid of the secure card, so you can use your money. Because in effect, you're only borrowing your own money. Did you know that? So when you have a secure card, all you're doing is borrowing your own money, but you're paying the bank interest, and you're going to pay them more money than they're going to pay you. Okay? So that you understand that. If you have a secure credit card, and the bank says you're secured by $10,000, and the bank says, well, we'll loan you up to 50%. Whose money are you borrowing? You're borrowing your money. But you're going to pay the bank 10, 15, 20% interest to borrow your own money. They may pay you 5%, but you're paying 20%.